and welcome everybody to the final ScoBuff Sports live show of the semester. We have a lot to go over today after a long and much needed Thanksgiving break. From football awards to a rivalry showdown on the ice, we've got a lot tonight. Let's start on the gridiron as the Buffs wrapped up the regular season a week ago. Colorado finished the season 9-3 after trouncing the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Here's the recap from Xavier Mignowitz.
The Buffs get the dub today, 52-0 against the Oklahoma State Cowboys. In the first quarter, they went up 21-0 lead, capitalizing on some short field opportunities provided by the Cowboys. Most notably, Travis Hunter added to his Heisman campaign, intercepting the Cowboys on the first drive of the game, setting the Buffs up nicely for the first touchdown. But in the second quarter, the Buffs hit a little bit of a lull, having to punt on 4 of their 5 drives, with Shedeur taking 3 sacks after first and goal. In the third quarter, they came out hot. They did what they had to do. They went up 38-0, and by that point, the game was over. They added 14 more points in the fourth quarter to end the game 52-0. Overall, it was a great game for the Buffs. It was a nice way to end the season after their loss against Kansas last week. It was senior day, so they got the 52-point dub and a shutout on senior day. Travis Hunter added to his Heisman campaign. He had over 100 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. And Shedeur was announced Johnny Unitas before the game, and they announced it at the game. So it was an overall good day for Buffs fans and a good win for the Buffs.
Colorado's last regular season game of 2024 was a beatdown against the Oklahoma State Cowboys at Folsom Field. The Buffs scored a season-high 52 points while posting their first shutout since 2021. The Black and Gold forced 4 total turnovers, including a third-quarter pick-6 from cornerback DJ McKinney. Shedeur Sanders threw for 438 yards and 5 touchdowns. His top 2 receivers were Travis Hunter with 116 yards and 3 touchdowns, LaJohntay Wester with 175 yards and 2 tuds. The statement game was not enough to propel the Buffs into the Big 12 championship game.
Now, the Buffs await the results of championship weekend to see which bowl game they will play in to end the season. The 2 most likely options for the Buffaloes are the Alamo Bowl in San Antonio or the Holiday Bowl in San Diego. The Alamo Bowl announced this week that the matchup will either be Iowa State versus BYU or Arizona State versus Colorado. The matchup for the Alamo Bowl is a Big 12 versus a former Pac-12 team, hence why there are conference matchups here after this year's realignment. If Arizona State wins the Big 12 championship tomorrow, expect the Buffs to go to San Diego where they would face off against an ACC team. The bowl selections will be announced on Sunday after the conference championships are over. The Holiday Bowl will take place on Friday, December 27th, while the Alamo Bowl will be on Saturday, December 28th. CU students are excited to be back in a bowl game. Let's see which bowl the students want to see their team in.
Hello, Buff fans. Bowl season is just around the corner, and with it comes an exciting decision. Where will we go to cheer on our team? This year, 3 incredible destinations are on the table: San Diego, San Antonio, and Las Vegas. Each city offers something special, but where do the fans want to go?
Hi, I'm Fort Marchant. I'm from Annapolis, Maryland. I've been a Buffs fan my whole life. And if we were to go to a bowl game in San Diego, that would be my favorite option out of the 3 locations so far.
I'm Lucas Cutter. I'm a senior, and I've been a Buffs fan since I began to school here. Yeah, I'm excited. I wish we were in the playoff, but I'm happy we're in a bowl game. I'd go to San Diego because it's closer to home. I just went to Vegas, and I have no interest in San Antonio.
What's up? I'm Silas. I'm a senior, and I've been a Buffs fan for as long as I can remember. I am excited for this upcoming bowl game. Hopefully, I'll be able to attend. San Diego for sure, because I'll be able to go.
It is clear that there's an overarching amount of support for the Buffs to play in San Diego due to the fact that most of our student body comes from either California or Colorado. However, it doesn't matter if it's San Diego, San Antonio, or Las Vegas. Each one brings something special to the table. Wherever the game takes us, we'll bring our school pride and make it a trip to remember.
I'm super excited to see Travis and Shedeur play one more time and getting out on the field representing the Buffs.
My name is Jackson Shallow with ScoBuff Sports, and we hope to see you guys supporting the Buffs this week.
The Heisman race is officially coming to a close. With the regular season over, voting comes to a close on Sunday with finalists being announced on Monday. The most likely finalists, as things stand, are Travis Hunter, Ashton Jonty, Dylan Gabriel, and Cam Ward, with Shedeur Sanders having an outside shot at making the Final Four. The Heisman Trophy ceremony takes place on December 14th, and our very own Trent Finnegan will be in New York to bring you all of the great content from this event.
If you wanted to hop on the Travis Hunter hype train, the bus might have already left. Colorado finished their regular season with an explosive 52-0 win over Oklahoma State, where Hunter did everything and more. 10 catches, 116 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Backside pressure, got it away. Picked off at the 30. Travis Hunter.
And an interception. From there, it was only a matter of time before the accolades started rolling in. And now, only the big ones left to be determined. Travis Hunter's two-way ability has made him one of the most fascinating players to watch in the nation, and he's now projected to be just the second player in Colorado's 100-year history since Rashawn Salaam to take home Heisman honors. But what makes Hunter Heisman worthy could vary depending on who you ask.
So Travis Hunter is my favorite player personally because in the first Big 12 game of the season, he went ahead and he secured our win and forced a fumble against them that ultimately turned the tide and got us that W.
Travis is supposed to go in the first round, which I think is showing that his two-way ability is more than just a gimmick. Probably going to be a pretty good player in the NFL.
And is this foreshadowing? Oh my.
Well, the obvious one is he plays both ways. So you see him get an interception, and then you see him catch a touchdown pass. That's something we haven't seen pretty much since Dion, his coach. So he's an exceptional athlete. I think he's going to win the Heisman Trophy because he's such an anomaly.
When Hunter is drafted to the NFL next April, he'll be the first Buff to go in the first round in 14 years. In 2 years, Travis Hunter has made his mark as one of the best Buffs to play for Colorado, and that should be cemented next week in New York at the Heisman ceremony. With Go Buff Sports, I'm Mason LeBeau.
As the Buff season comes to a close, so do the campaigns in the race for the Heisman. Two of the top candidates include Colorado's Travis Hunter and Boise State's Ashton Jeanty. While both players have been putting up impressive numbers, Travis Hunter has started to gain a large popularity through his slogan where he replaces the I and E in Heisman to his current number 12. Hunter has attracted a lot of popularity around the world of sports, specifically in the NFL and the NBA. Earlier this week on Monday Night Football, Cortland Sutton and Patrick Surtain of the Denver Broncos were spotted wearing Travis Hunter Heisman shirts in pregame warmups. The following day at Ball Arena, Peyton Watson and DeAndre Jordan of the Denver Nuggets were also seen wearing the same shirts in their warmups as well. Both major sports teams of the state of Colorado have seemed to take a liking to Travis Hunter and are now supporting him and his Heisman campaign. The finalists for the award will officially be announced on Monday, with the winner being announced in New York City next Saturday.
The 2024 All Big 12 Football Awards were announced Thursday morning, with 3 Buffaloes taking home awards such as Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and Newcomer Player of the Year. Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter were awarded Offensive and Defensive Players of the Year, and B.J. Green was named Newcomer of the Year. Sanders, Hunter, and B.J. Green also earned All Big 12 first honors, where Nakai Hill Green earned second team All Big 12 honors. There were some Buffs who were such awards as LaJohntay Wester, Jordan Seaton, Preston Hodge, DJ McKinney, Mark Bassett, Alejandro Mata, Cam Silman-Craig, Chidozie Nwankwo. You can check out more in detail on the Go Buff Sports website.
Colorado's football's 2025 opponents have been revealed, with new conference matchups likely to bring just as much excitement as the 2024 season has so far. The 4 Big 12 home games will include Arizona, Arizona State, BYU, and Iowa State, while the 5 away games will be played at Houston, Kansas State, TCU, Utah, and West Virginia. The Buffs will also take on non-conference opponents Delaware, Georgia Tech, and Wyoming, with one other game yet to be announced.
Last trivia question of the semester in honor of Shedeur Sanders winning Offensive Player of the Year and Travis winning Defensive Player of the Year. We thought to go with that theme. So the question is, who was the last CU player to win a Conference Player of the Year award? Stay tuned, we'll have the answer later in the show.
Conference play will begin for both basketball programs over winter break, and we have recaps of the busy Thanksgiving week of both teams and a preview of the Buffs' first season back in the Big 12. Stay tuned, you're watching Go Buff Sports.
Who wants to do basketball? Who wants to do football? Who wants to do soccer? Who wants to do volleyball?
That's so sick. Did Christian just say that?
Videography. Anyone want to do that?
The men's basketball team secured another non-conference victory this past week as they took on the Pacific Tigers this past Monday. The win was no small task for the Buffs, who had to overcome a 10-point halftime deficit on their way to the 75-66 win. Trevor Baskin nearly achieved a triple-double for the black and gold as he had 13 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. The Buffs are back in action for the Rocky Mountain Showdown as they take on the Colorado State Rams at the CU Events Center tomorrow evening at 6 p.m.
The men's basketball team faces Colorado State tomorrow night at 6 p.m. The Rocky Mountain Showdown is back on the hardwood for the third consecutive year, as our Buffs look to bounce back after losing last year's game by 5. Be sure to load up the CU Event Center tomorrow and cheer on the Buffs.
Men's basketball has a long list of games between now and our next live show, with most of them happening over break. They play South Dakota State on December 13th at 7 p.m. at the Event Center. Bellarmine then comes to town on December 21st at 1 p.m. Big 12 play then starts on December 30th and the 150th edition of Colorado versus Iowa State as the top 5 ranked Cyclones come to the Event Center. The Buffs then travel for the next 2 games, beginning in Tempe to face Arizona State on January 4th at 4 p.m. before going across the country to play UCF following that. The men finished this span of games at home with West Virginia on January 12th at 1 p.m., then ranked Cincinnati on the 15th at 7 p.m.
Let's take a look at how the Big 12 is currently shaping up as conference play is right around the corner. 6 teams in the conference are currently ranked in the top 25 in the country. This includes number 1 ranked Kansas and number 6 ranked Iowa State. There are still other ranked teams who have not. Conference has another losing record. CU has their work cut out for them and another difficult feature to achieve.
The women's basketball team is 2-1 since we last updated you, now sitting on a record of 7-2 with Big 12 play around the corner. Senior forward Sarah Rose Smith put up a career-high 21 points to lift the Buffs over Utah Tech on the road on November 27th. Colorado then returned home to face the Louisville Cardinals, who were ranked number 24 in the nation at the time. CU played tough for a while, but let Louisville pull away late, resulting in a 79-71 defeat for the black and gold. Tennessee Tech then came to town on Tuesday morning, being greeted on field trip day by hundreds of screaming school children from the stands. The atmosphere left the CU Event Center loud and proud of their Buffaloes, who used an efficient offensive performance to power past the Golden Eagles, 91-79.
Before we look ahead to the next women's games over the break, let's take a quick preview at the upcoming matchups for the Buffs next week on Saturday. The Black and Gold will take on the Southern Utah Thunderbirds at the Event Center. The Buffaloes are strong favorites in the matchup, as the Thunderbirds sit at 1-8 on the year, posting the second worst non-conference record in the Western Athletic Conference. Then, on Tuesday, the women will take on the Denver Pioneers, also at home. The 3-4 Pios are coming off a loss to Idaho State before their game against the Buffs. Denver will host Portland State on Saturday before making the drive up to Boulder. This will also be Denver's last away game until mid-January. Denver currently has the second worst record in a very competitive Summit League. These games mark the final non-conference opponents for the women's squad of the season.
The women's basketball team starts Big 12 play over break with West Virginia coming to town on December 21st. Then they'll have to start the new year on the road with a game at TCU on the 1st at 5 p.m. and a game at Baylor on the 4th at 1 p.m. Then they return to CU to host UCF on January 8th and Kansas on the 11th. The last game we'll talk about is when they play West Virginia on the 15th, this time at West Virginia.
The Big 12 is not as crazy as men's hoops, but it will still be a challenge for the women's programs. Their conference opener of West Virginia should serve as a testament to how the Buffs could fare in the Big 12, as the Mountaineers are ranked 15th in the nation. This is the Buffs' first year back in the Big 12 with a reworked roster, so it will be interesting how the Buffs play to the tough competition.
We're approaching the final weekend of club sports in 2024. We'll look ahead at the games coming up this weekend and some big varsity soccer portal news. That's all coming up after the break.
Hello everyone, my name is Tanner Clark and welcome to this week's edition of Buff Banner. Today we're looking ahead at the Colorado track and field team's upcoming competitions. The Buffs are currently competing at the Mines Alum Classic, kicking off their season with an exciting lineup of events. Today's schedule features the long jump, pentathlon, pole vault, and shot put, while tomorrow will include the weight throw, triple jump, high jump, and a variety of track races. Tomorrow, Chris Cherry, Ethan Edgeworth, and Jessica Score will head to Boston to represent the Buffs among some of the world's top athletes at the Sharon Collier Danville season opener. The Buffs will compete again next weekend in Colorado Springs before breaking for the holidays. But don't worry, there are 5 meets scheduled for the month of January alone. It's an exciting start to the season, and we'll be keeping an eye on the Buffs as they set the tone for a strong year ahead. For viewing and live stats on any of these events, visit cubuffs.com. I'm Tanner Clark, and this was Buff Banner.
Thanks, Tanner, for the big news in the varsity soccer community. SCO Buff Sports broke the news over break that star Buffalo Juliana Hayward will be entering the transfer portal. The standout junior made the Big 12 second team this season and committed to Georgia. Early on Friday, Hayward may choose to return to the Buffaloes if she doesn't find another program. But as of now, it stands as a huge loss for the squad looking ahead. Her transfer announcement comes off of a disappointing finish to the season, as well as the heavy losses to graduation this offseason.
The Buffs volleyball season officially ended this week as the team was swept by the Houston Cougars to end their first regular season back in the Big 12. The week prior, the Buffs swept the Kansas State Wildcats. Colorado will not qualify for postseason play, and this is the last time we'll see the program play until spring scrimmages start in a few months. In brighter news, however, sophomore Anna Barilovich was selected to all-conference honors, making second team All-Big 12. Barilovich played in 29 of the 30 games this season and finished 7th in the conference for points per set.
Just before Thanksgiving, men's D1 hockey traveled to Fremont, Nebraska, to play the Warriors of Midland. The series was split with a final score of 2-3 on Friday and 4-2 on Saturday. The Buffs currently sit at number 5 in the WCHL with 8 wins and 9 losses on the season. Men's Hoops is not the only team hosting a Rocky Mountain showdown this weekend. The D1 Buffs will take to the ice to play rival Colorado State tonight in Boulder and Saturday in Fort Collins. Tune in to SCO Buff Sports tonight at 8 p.m. for the final home game of the year.
Men's D2 hockey is having an electrifying season, and their pre-Thanksgiving showdown was no exception. 2 out-of-town teams traveled to Boulder to take on the number 1 ranked BMHC Buffs. The New Mexico Lobos put up a good fight Friday night, but fell short with a final score of 3-2. Saturday night saw a dominating Buffs performance with an 18-0 shutout against their rival, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Buffs captain Diego Pitones made history that night, becoming the all-time leader in points in ACHA Division II. The D2 Buffs look to close out the year with a conference matchup against Wyoming tonight and in-state rival Air Force on Saturday. Catch tomorrow's game live on SCO Buff Sports at 7 p.m.
It was an important week for the club baseball offseason, as well as the NCBA officially released their preseason rankings. The Buffaloes checked in at number 15 as they get ready for the season. They're the second highest program in the Mid-America West Conference. As the Colorado State Rams were placed at 11, the Rams and the Buffaloes were the only programs in the top 25, with Colorado School of the Mines receiving the most votes of the non-ranked team over the past week.
What's up? I'm Harrison Simeon, bringing you this week's top 5 plays in Colorado sports. Starting off at number 5, we head to Folsom Field as the Colorado Buffaloes absolutely destroy the Oklahoma State Cowboys, and this was one of the exclamation points. DJ McKinney brings this one back. Stay tuned for our tweet of the week, as he had quite the unique celebration, if I can say so myself. Number 4,
It's
we
way
head to
too
men's
slow and way
basketball
too
as
fast,
the
and they
steal
just-
from
they
Elijah
just
Malone
stopped in the
heads
middle
to
of
Harrison
Max's
Carrington,
thing.
and he yams it on his head with the slam against Pacific. The Buffs did win this game. As we head to number 3, women's basketball now. This shot is not the play, but it's this chase down block by Ayanna Johnson. Buffs kept it competitive against Louisville. Number 2, another exclamation point. Shador Sanders looks deep, and it's Travis Hunter. Who else? I've said that name more times than I've said any athlete's name in probably the year span in history. Hits the Heisman pose, and we head to number 1 as the men's basketball team takes on UConn. Andre Yakimovsky, not even looking at the basket, and he flips it in. for the win against the back-to-back reigning national champions. That's all for this week's Top 5 Plays of the Week. I've been Harrison Simeon. Back to you guys at the desk.
Hi Buff fans, I'm Lucy Alania and welcome to another Rapid Fire. Let's look at the CU Athletic lineup for this weekend. Starting tonight, we have a home game for the men's Division I hockey team against CSU, which you can watch live on ScoBuff Sports YouTube. Going into Saturday, the women's basketball team will be playing against the Southern Utah University at 1 p.m. Later on Saturday evening, the men's basketball team will have their rival game against CSU at 7 p.m. You can catch all of the basketball games at the CU Event Center. Lastly, we will have men's D2 hockey team taking on the Air Force Falcons at home, also at Saturday on 7 p.m. Go out and support and go Buffs.
We are back and ready to reveal the trivia question answer. The question was, who was the last CU player to win a Big 12 Player of the Year honor? And the answer is Nate Solder. In 2010, Nate Solder won the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, the offensive tackle. That's it for our trivia question, and a big congrats to Travis and Shador on their accomplishments this season.
Thanks, Trent. It's now time for our Tweet of the Week. In the Buffs' last game of the season against Oklahoma State, cornerback DJ McKinney took an interception to the crib against his former team and proceeded to urinate on the ball for his celebration. In the post-game presser, he said that he dreamed about it all night, the night just before. Just a way to cap off a great season for the sophomore cornerback against his former team. Let's take a look.
Talk to me about the celebration.
Man, man, it was amazing. I ain't gonna lie, the night before I dreamed about it, it was kind of premeditated, the celebration, honestly. So I was like, man, if they mess up and throw it one my way, I'm gonna make them pay for sure. So I kind of had it already in my head, and I just, pulled it out.
That does it for today's live show. Thank you to everyone who watched today and watched the entire 2024 fall semester. Tune in to the Colorado sporting events over the break, and we'll be back in January to recap it all. For Max Friedel, I'm Trent Finnegan, and remember, you heard it here first.